thank you so much for having me. Particularly to Madame Castillo de Ayat. It's an honor and a responsibility to be representing here the startups and the industry. So I will try to do my best. So just a short advertising section about Carto, very quick. So Carto is a startup, VC backed. We raised $30 million, 100 people all around the world, mostly in Europe, in Madrid and Tartu in Estonia, but also in London and New York. And I think the important thing about we do, and I will talk more about that, is that we are open source and we also rely on open data. So we like to talk about our business model as open SaaS, right? We think that there's a great opportunity in Europe for startups to build their own services on top of infrastructure like fiber and many other things that are happening around Europe. So I'm going to talk a bit about that, and I think it's important because this way we can compete against some of these US giants, right? If not, we'll not be relying on open source code and be using that and then extending all these libraries. We could by no way compete with the giants like Google, Amazon, and the likes. And more importantly, we think that this movement is about giving much more access to data and intelligence to all kinds of professionals and users. So data access is for me one of the key things I would like to talk about is how we can ensure interoperability of the platforms to get access to data and then to deliver that in the form of intelligence, dashboards, or applications to everybody. And I think there's a strong opportunity for startups to do something around that. I would say most of your CEOs have said in the last shareholders meetings that your company, every company is now a data company. And I'm sure that the CEO of Telefonica has said that in the last shareholders meeting. So I would say once you know that, there is a big, massive trend happening right now. It's this massive sensorization. It is IoT, it's what we are implementing in the cities, but more importantly, it's human beings as a sensor, right? Our smartphone device sending a signal where we are. What we do is the credit card transactions that we do all around, sending information about our purchasing behavior. It is how we move around the city through a cab, through an Uber. So through all of that, we can now establish proxies of human behavior. And that can be used then to deliver much more tailored services, maybe like the Arias that was just before mentioned, right? So maybe you remember the example of Foursquare a few months ago when they were able to predict the sales of Chipotle just by looking at how much people are coming into each of the Chipotle restaurants in the US. We see this more and more, right? Using data to actually close this bridge between the real and the digital world. I think this fourth industrial revolution is about blurring the boundaries between what is biological, what is physical, what is online, and what is digital, right? And what we feel from Carto is that location brings you the context to all this information, to all this big data. There is this first law of geography which says that, it says two obvious things. First obvious thing it says is that everything is related with everything else, which is pretty obvious. But the second more important one is that closer things are more related than distant things. So thanks to this vector of location, you can add disparate data sources, different angles of human behavior, and then understand these behavioral patterns. So I think that there are many things that Europe can do to help to establish this ecosystem of European startups and technology. And a few things have been done so far. We are proud partners of the 5-year Foundation, and we are working with Telefonica, with Connector. I would say Carto is one layer on top of fiber. So we help to create the smart cities dashboards that can be consumed by individuals, but you need to have access to the data and interoperability in order to do that. So I think it's a great example on how by enabling an open source connector to the fiber platform, we can then create services on top of that. Also, maybe you will know about the Free Data Flow initiative, which helps a lot to ensure exactly that, right? How we can get access to public data and how we can talk about the emerging issues of data ownership and also liabilities around data ownership. And the last one I think is very important that Europe is doing, particularly for European startups, is eliminating roaming. But I don't know when this will happen, but I really look forward to that, so if I can just...
It will happen.
It's happening? Okay. So I need to say that. So one colleague of mine, Elena Alfaro from VBA, just did a talk a few days ago. And she was mentioning some of the challenges that we are facing if we want to move to this digital economy, right? And I have to concur with some of them. And the most important one for me is that we are now having all this usage by all the companies, all the governments of anonymized and aggregated data. But it's still not totally clear how you can use that and what are the use cases that are allowed and not. And if you think from the location vector, since you're using these separate data sets, you can really identify individuals by what they do. Maybe all the three sources are aggregated and they're also anonymized, but by looking at the same data from different angles, you can identify individuals. So how can you understand better which use cases are enabled and how? Another important point for me is the open data policies, but not just for the public sector, which is happening, but also how we can encourage companies to make the data public and what are the incentives to do so. And also tied to that, the transparency, right? How can we encourage companies to deliver the data, to make it available to startups? And I think that Uber did an interesting move, actually called movements, a few days ago, right? Giving their data out on how people are moving around the city and helping or fostering that other startups or other companies can then analyze the data and help cities to understand where to close a street or how to manage their transport system. And another important point I would like to mention is the data literacy of the individuals. We're talking about smart citizens tied to smart cities, but there's like a bit of a lack of an angle there, because you have got here like individuals sharing the data openly in Facebook, in Twitter, with no problem, but they're being very much concerned about how the data is being used for other initiatives like healthcare. So understanding more and giving more information to citizens on how the data is being used, I think is very, very important. And lastly, for me, the most important one is the harmonization of data legislations, right? A company like ours, based in Madrid with offices all around Europe, in the US, we need to comply with so many data legislations that it makes it very difficult for us to think about a one digital single market, when in reality, we need to be complying with so many different laws which are implemented differently in each of the countries. And I could not finish without talking about geo specifically, right? No, I would not be Carto. So in the geo world, if we want to make context be so important, the need of authoritative data sets is very important. Which boundaries are the ones that can be used? Which location data services, which routing services we can use that every country has in the same way? And there's a strong difference if you compare the US and Europe, the two markets where we are playing mostly. It's a strong difference because then you have one single agency, one federal agency who gathers and collects all the location data. Here we have got 27. And each of them are doing this, not the same thing, so it's very hard to ensure interoperability. So I think there's a lot to be done around that. And some has been done through the Inspire initiative over the last years, but that's been done as a great initiative at government level. But I think sometimes many of the things that happen at the European Parliament and Commission level are too much oriented at government level. We need to get it down back to the businesses. So this is why I like so much the Fiber initiative, because it's so much geared towards the companies and the business use that is the most important point. So I would like just to finish that I think there is a great opportunity in Europe right now. Europe can really become a hub for deep tech, for data analysis, and for data visualization. So how can we create and how can we foster that hub? And for me, it's about use cases, smart cities, climate change, how we can really rally around a specific use case, and how can we then also enable this interoperability and one single law for all the European Union as a whole. So, well, I would say we'll be happy to discuss with you later on at lunch, and thank you so much for having me. Thank you.